What's up, guys? This is Any Given Sport. I'm Gabe.
I'm Chris.
I'm David.
I'm Abhishek. I'm the guest today. Thank you for having me.
No problem, dude.
And today we're going to be talking about whether pro athletes should deserve their salaries. All right, Chris, what do you think?
I think that athletes should get paid way less than they do right now. In today's society, one should be paid according to their job's importance and their value to society.
David?
I'm in a way on Chris's side. I mean, I agree that they should be paid less, but not too much. I feel they're in a pretty good position right now, but not be paid more at all now.
All right. I completely disagree with Chris. I respectfully disagree with you. I understand your point about how sports athletes should be paid determined on their values to society, but I also think that they deserve their salary and nothing less than what they're being paid now, because there's a perception that they're greedy and selfish due to their expenses and stuff, but when it all comes down to it, they still have countless hours practicing, time being away from family, the work being put in. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
I think we're analyzing this very simplistically. We have to look at it and compare them to other jobs, because we can't just value how much people are paid based on the importance. Otherwise, doctors, teachers, people who serve as policemen in the military would be paid the most. But it's how much money you generate for your business, for your industry, and how replaceable are you, how integral you are to that to your profession. So you have to look at athletes as entertainers, not as people with normal jobs, because they're getting paid, in the end, they're getting paid what actors, what musicians would be paid, because the entertainment industry, sports is part of the entertainment industry, because it's television, merchandise, ticket sales, obviously ad money, all of that contributes to how much they're paid, and you can't simply just not pay them as much, because then these athletes wouldn't want to be athletes, because paying them is a large part of that incentive. And if you get rid of that incentive, then you're not going to get the top athletes to be there, which is bad for the economy as a whole. And also, it's about, like I mentioned, it's about how replaceable you are. And really, you cannot. Professional athletes, they're born with. A lot of them are born with natural born gifts, whatever you believe in, God-given gifts. And you can teach someone to be a lawyer. You can teach someone to be a teacher. You can teach someone to be someone who works at Reebok, but you cannot teach LeBron James how to jump, how to run. And it's not just about importance. I understand where people are coming from, but it's about how replaceable you are, and how much money you're bringing to the industry. I really prefer athletes being paid much more than they're being paid, because I want them to get the money, not the rich owners who are actually end up getting the money.
Yes, but still, Tom Brady makes $15 million, and that's base salary, and there's still more incentives and stuff, which totals up to 41 and something million. Stephen Curry, one of the star players on Golden State, $37 million. One of the best pitchers in the MLB, in my opinion, and one of the star pitchers for the Red Sox, David Price, $30 million for 2018. I just feel because looking at the statistics and stuff, rookies and players who aren't really as popular don't get paid as much. So they're still holding there's still that whole basis on popularity and stuff. So they really hold more responsibility, considering they're being constantly watched by the media and the news, and every step that they really take is being tracked. Just kind of deserves something for that.
Yeah, and really you can't. Like I mentioned, you have to look at them as entertainers, and we can get into this whole argument about should singers be paid as much, should actors be paid as much, but who's putting butts in theaters? Who's putting butts in seats? Yeah. The athletes themselves. And if you get rid of that incentive for them, then now you get rid of that whole industry. And what does that industry actually have? Because say people that work for Nike, right? People are not going to work for Nike if there's no star athlete who's endorsing Nike. So now you not only get rid of that player getting paid that much, but you also get rid of all these jobs for people who are working in Nike. Because what is Nike without sports? So you can't think at it as an arrow. You just look at these numbers and 40 million teachers getting paid $100K. You just look at that and be like, hey, teachers way more important. I agree, but we can't just think about it that narrowly.
Chris, I heard you say that you think that pro athletes should be paid substantially less.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that?
I just think because for how, like, I know they, like, work hard for what they do. I know they practice every day. They've committed their life to it, but, like, I think it's just, like, for how much the star athletes get paid, I don't get... Can you just explain to me, like, why they get paid so much more than, like, the educators and, like, the safety work, like...
So, like I said, as I mentioned, the athletic, industries, whatever sports teams, they generate billions of dollars. And it's just not comparable. How many teachers are there compared to how many football players there are? You simply cannot pay them. And what are you going to do with that revenue? Like, if you don't pay the athletes, it's either going to stay in the pockets of the billionaires, which I don't think any of us want, right? Or you can distribute it. Are you guys advocating that we distribute that money and subsidize, other industries? We give the money, a portion of that. I mean, because that's not really what America is about. We're a capitalist country, I don't think it's right if we were to just have the money that's generated by sports teams and then distribute that to teachers, because really that's not what we're about, because that's going to, like I said, mentioned, it's not going to incentivize athletes to be an athlete, and that's going to get rid of a whole industry because you're not paying as much money for them.
It doesn't, like, athletes' salary come from, like, sponsorships, obviously.
Exactly.
So, like, all, like, the big name athletes are getting paid a lot more because of their sponsors from, like, Nike, Puma, Reebok.
They're brands, like I said. They're you can compare an athlete, popularity of an athlete, to any singer, musician, personality, television personality. They're brands. They're entertainers, and it's the world of the entertainment business. It's how it works. We as a society have valued that so much that we're willing to pay hundreds of dollars to go to a concert, to go to a athletic event, and millions of people are willing to watch the Super Bowl, willing to watch basketball, and if that you drive that much of an audience, you're going to get paid, and I would rather have it be that than be the owners.
Going into something that's not related to things that have already been said, but it's about an argument that I heard about how when players get injured, their careers are over, but players at this point already have enough money stashed away in bank accounts and stuff that they could probably sustain themselves for the rest of their lives after being injured, while also being able to possibly even get higher education and start a new job if they were injured so badly that they wouldn't be able to continue playing a sport. Not only that, but they could also branch off into, say, an advertising or acting or anything like that, which they have already gotten accustomed to being in front of cameras. So I feel like when an athlete is injured, they should still be fine and be able to support themselves, even though they have dedicated themselves to this.
This is a totally different conversation, but if you actually look at the number of athletes who actually go broke after retiring, after getting injured, the number is very high, especially in NBA.
Oh.
There was a really good 30 for 30 documentary by ESPN about, I think it was called Broke, about athletes that are going broke because really they don't know how to handle money a lot of times, because a lot of these athletes, aspiring athletes in America, they're poor. A lot of times they're working class Americans, and then suddenly you get signed on draft day and you become a millionaire. That's part of the excitement why I at least love the draft so much, because you see these kids who are otherwise struggling in single family households, single parent households, and they become millionaires the next day. It's the American dream, right? But beyond that, I think, if you have to look at it that way, because like I mentioned, a lot of them do go broke, and that's where we run into the problem where different leagues have different ways of how these contracts are set. So in the NFL, that's one of the things they're trying to do, is have guaranteed contracts. The Players Association, because the contracts are not guaranteed. If you get injured 2 years into your contract, 6-year contract, you're not going to get the rest. You're going to get your guaranteed money, but you're not going to get the rest of the base salary. And in a sport like football, the chance of getting injured is always present. In basketball, in baseball, that's completely guaranteed money. So you have to look at it like that. And yeah, I do agree they do have an opportunity to branch out, but that's because they already have a name. If you're famous, what talents do the Kardashians have? They have a name.
True.
They have a name, and they make money out of it. It's just it's kind of sad how our world works, but hey, it's just how it works. Just explain how it works.
Couldn't that be something, though, that a team could use some of the funding that they get from sponsorships and stuff, instead of paying players all the time? They could create a program where they teach the players that if something were to happen, they could educate them on how bad it could be if they were to get injured and how they could properly spend their money.
In my opinion, they can use that. They can provide those programs without paying the athletes less money, because they have enough money.
Actually, yeah.
They have enough money. That's my opinion.
You were saying how like you think they're fine where they are,
Yeah.
like with their salaries. Like,
Yeah.
what exactly do you mean by that?
Like they're, I feel the amount they're getting paid is reasonable. I feel it could go down a little bit, but definitely not go up. I don't feel.
I just want to build off and like kind of not really like direct this towards Chris, but just saying like what he said about how they should be paid like substantially less. I mean, what teachers are being paid from the state, right?
Yeah.
And then football players are being paid through promotions with big like corporations. They're being paid through
Private
private
yeah.
companies. They still get like part of their salary comes from like ticket sales and stuff.
Yeah.
Merchandise sales. So like, say Tom Brady, it's like people buy like Tom Brady's jersey. Like a lot of people do that. He's gonna get some of that money because like his name's on there. I mean, I'm just saying, teachers work how many months a year? Like 10, 9, 10?
9, 10, yeah, give or take.
I mean, like sports seasons are a lot shorter than that. So like, say like 5 to 7. So, say around 6 months, a 6-month season for football, and they're training like as hard as they can every single day of those 6 months, and they're still playing games. But then in the off season, they're still working. So it's kind of like an all year job for them, in a way. So,
Okay.
want to add on to that?
So like I get the like. So I understand like why athletes get paid so much because you are right. Their name is on everything. They're recognized by everyone. They put all their time and dedication into what they do. But I just don't think it's fair that they get this money because even if they don't perform to their expectations, they still have so much money left. But like in any,
Sorry. I want to ask you a question though. So what would you in your opinion what would you do with the money that sports generates, teams, leagues generates? Because if you don't give it back to the athletes, what would you do with the money? Because the money is there, like the audience is there. So from the money that you generate, what would you rather have them do with that money than than athletes getting paid? And what would you rather have?
I think it should go back to like, so like say for example the Patriots, instead of like providing money to the players, instead they put it into like services and facilities at Gillette Stadium. So like to put it back into
Which I'm sure
they do that, but
Yeah.
you can't spend. I don't know how. Off the top of my
can't
head,
spend
I don't
billions
know.
of dollars
Yeah, you
on
can't spend the
Gillette
billions of dollars,
Stadium.
and it's also seen if you want to say that you want to. Okay, if you want to say that you want to spend it elsewhere, but then how are athletes going to look at that? I just made you that much money, and now you're using that money for somewhere else. Like they're not gonna be kind to that. I don't think they're gonna react to that in a good way.
Just to kind of like close things off, the sports industry is about to be like $75 billion. So that's like a lot of money, and if
American sports industry,
American
alone?
sports industry, just
See,
alone.
now you haven't even included the other countries. See,
Yeah. So the sports like industry in total is just going to be like worth hundreds of billions of dollars, and what are they going to do with that like type of money? All
All right, guys. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
It was
Abhishek.
wonderful.
anytime.
right. This is Any Given Sport. I'm Gabe.
I'm Chris.
I'm David.
I'm Abhishek. Once again, thank you.
All right, thank you.